Alright, so since I can't be in class today, I'm going to make this short little video so that you guys can at least get the notes taken, and then you'll be able to work on the assignment. So, what we're going to be talking about today is finding x and y intercepts, and then being able to graph them out. So when you are looking for a x-intercept, it is the point at which a line intersects the x-axis. So here's your x-axis, it's the horizontal line. And so where my graph right here crosses the x-axis, that is my x-intercept. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So right here at x equals 8, that is my x-intercept. The point at which the line crosses the y-axis is called the y-intercept. So I look at my y-axis right here, and then look at where it's crossing my y-axis, and it's at this point. If I look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, my graph is crossing the y-axis at 8. So that's our y-intercept. As far as how we're going to be looking for these, there's real specific things. I mean, the fact that you are finding where your graph crosses the x-axis, this coordinate here is always going to have something fairly unique to it. Number one, it's always going to be a coordinate, and so its x-coordinate is going to be the value, but its y-coordinate will always be 0. So to find the x-coordinate, what we're going to do is we're going to set y equal to 0 and then solve for x. And that will give you your x-coordinate. Every single x-intercept right here is always going to have a y value of 0 based off of being an x-intercept. For a y-intercept, when we look at this coordinate here, this time your y value is what's going to be different, but if you notice that any point that's on your y-axis will always have an x-coordinate of 0. So this time, to find a y-intercept, we're going to set x equal to 0, and then we are going to solve for y. So showing you how we can do this with an equation of y equals 3x plus 6. For some of you, you might be able to quick identify what your y-intercept is just from the equation itself, because it's in y equals mx plus b form. So our y-intercept is going to be 6. If you weren't sure of that, we could still set x equal to 0. So then we can say that y is equal to 3 times 0 plus 6. 3 times 0 is 0, and 0 plus 6 is 6. So our y-intercept would be 6. To find our x-intercept, this time we're going to set y equal to 0, and we're going to solve for x. So 0 equals 3x plus 6. I'm going to subtract a 6 from both sides. So negative 6 is equal to 3x. Divide by 3. And we get that x is equal to negative 2. Alright, so let's take a look at a couple examples down here on the bottom. Y equals negative x plus 5. Again, hopefully you are able to identify here that the y-intercept needs to be 5. The fact that this is in this form of y equals mx plus b. Once again, if not, if you're trying to find your y-intercept, we're going to set x equal to 0. So y is equal to negative 0 plus 5. Well, negative 0 is 0. Add 5 to that, and so y does equal 5. To find our x-intercept, we're going to set y equal to 0. So 0 is equal to negative x plus 5. If I subtract 5 from both sides, I get that negative 5 is equal to negative x, and divide by negative 1. And here we get that x is equal to positive 5. So both your x and y-intercept are both 5 for that example. All right, next one here, y equals 1/2 x minus 8. You've got your y equals mx plus b. B is your y-intercept. So negative 8 is our y-intercept. Or, once again, we can do y is equal to 1/2 times 0 minus 8. 1/2 times 0 is 0 minus 8, and y equals negative 8. X-intercept, we're going to set y equal to 0, so 0 is equal to 1/2 x minus 8. I'm going to add 8 to both sides, so 8 is equal to 1/2 x. Now be careful, your answer is not 4, because now we need to divide by 1/2. And when we take 8 and we divide it by 1/2, it's actually multiplying it by 2. And so x is equal to 16. Do one more here with fractions. I've got y equals negative 4/3 x plus 2. That also is in slope-intercept form, so the y-intercept is going to be positive 2. Or y is equal to negative 4/3 times 0 plus 2. Negative 4/3 times 0 is 0. Add 2, and y is equal to 2. X-intercept, we're going to go 0 is equal to negative 4/3 x plus 2. Here I would subtract 2 from both sides. So negative 2 is equal to negative 4/3 x. Now I have to divide by a negative 4/3. And 2 divided by a negative 4/3, we actually have to multiply it by its reciprocal. I don't have a calculator with me right now, so negative 2, multiply that by negative 3/4. So a negative times a negative is a positive. So we're going to get a positive 6/4, which simplifies to 3/2. So our x-intercept is going to be 3/2. Alright, what if we have these written in standard form? Standard form is actually the perfect opportunity for us to use slope-intercept form because it makes it a little bit easier to do. X minus y is equal to negative 2. So let's go ahead, just like we've been doing, I'm going to find the y-intercept first. So I'm going to set x equal to 0. 0 minus y is equal to positive 2. Well, 0 minus y, that's negative 1y equals 2. Divide by negative 1, and we get that y is equal to negative 2. So our y-intercept is negative 2. X-intercept, we're going to set y equal to 0, so x minus 0 equals 2. X minus 0 is x, so x here is equal to a positive 2. Example number 5, y-intercept I'm going to find. So we're going to take 3 times 0 minus 2 times y is equal to 12. 3 times 0 is 0. So we're left with a negative 2y equals 12. Don't forget to bring down the negative. Divide by a negative 2, and y is equal to negative 6. X-intercept, we're going to set x equal to y equal to 0. Or sorry, y equal to 0 and solve for x. So 3x minus 2 times 0 is equal to 12. 2 times 0 is 0. 3x minus 0 is 3x. So 3x has to equal 12. Divide by 3, and x equals 4. Eight x plus 10y equals negative 10. So y-intercept, we're going to take 8 times 0 plus 10 times y is equal to negative 10. 8 times 0, 0. 10y is equal to negative 10. Divide by 10. And y is equal to negative 1. X-intercept, we have 8 times x plus 10 times 0 equals negative 10. 10 times 0 is 0. 8x then is going to equal negative 10. And then we divide by 8. And we are going to get a fraction of negative 10/8, which can simplify to negative 5/4. So negative 5/4 is our y-intercept. X and y intercepts are not always going to be integers. They might be decimals, they might be fractions. So now if you're able to find x and y intercepts, that right there gives you 2 points that you can graph out and then draw a line for. So now, looking at our last examples here, trying to graph by finding your x and y intercepts. If I take a look at this problem here, x plus y equals 3, to find the x-intercept, I'm going to set y equal to 0. So x plus 0 equals 3. That means that x is going to have to equal 3. So on my x-axis, I can place a point at 3. For my y-intercept, we're going to set x equal to 0, so 0 plus y is equal to 3. Well, that right there is also telling me that y has to be 3. So 1, 2, 3, and there's my point. I now have 2 points, and so I can go ahead and draw my line through those 2 points. If I wanted to come up with some other points too, I could help use the slope. In fact, I'm going from the blue to the red here. I can go down 3 to the right 3. If I go down 1, 2, 3 and to the right 3, I can place another point. I can do the same thing in the other direction just to help get additional points if needed. All right, number 8. We'll go ahead and do the x-intercept. So I'm going to set y equal to 0. So negative 4x is going to have to equal 20. Notice that I eliminated a step in there because I know that anything times 0 is 0. So putting a 0 in for y really just gets rid of it, and I have negative 4x equals 20. Divide both sides by negative 4, and x equals negative 5. So to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I go 5 units to the left. Y-intercept, I'm going to put 0 in for x, so negative 4 times 0 is 0. I'm left with 5y is equal to 20. Divide by 5, and y is equal to 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4 units up. So I'm going from the red to the blue here. I'm going to the right 4 and up, to the right 5 and up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I just put in another point just so that it makes it a nice easy line to draw. All right, 9x minus 15, 9x minus 15y is equal to 45. Find the x-intercept. So set y equal to 0. That would get rid of the negative 15y, leaving me with 9x is equal to 45. Divide by 5, or divide by 9, and x is going to equal 5. And so if I go 5 units to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units to the right. Y-intercept, negative 15y is equal to 45. Be very careful if you ever see negative signs. Divide by negative 15, and y is equal to negative 3. So 1, 2, 3, and there's a point. Going up 3 to the right 5, I could go down 3, 1, 2, 3, and over 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I could draw a line. What if you don't have integers all the time for graphing out something? Here's a good example of that. You can still approximate where you are at. So the x-intercept, we're going to go 2x minus 0. So 2x is equal to 7. Divide here, and we get 7/2, which is the same thing as 3.5. So on a graph, we can locate where 3.5 is. 1, 2, 3, and it's going to be halfway between 3 and 4. Y-intercept, we have 0 and 4x. So 2 times 0, 0. I'm left with negative y is equal to 7. Divide by negative 1, and y is equal to negative 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And all I need is those 2 points to be able to draw a line. So hopefully this video was helpful, and you should be able to now complete your assignment for tomorrow.